Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is our 8 p.m. show. How are you all doing? Good day for Manchester United. 2 good days. Fred, Dalot, and the hat-trick looks like it's going to be Griezmann. I'm only joking. Looks like it's definitely going to be Fellaini, which is fantastic. We'll be talking about that in a minute. But a lot of you will be tuning in going, what's this bloody Griezmann thing? So, literally, Antoine Griezmann to Manchester United transfer rumour. Realistically, the great thing about this, whatever you think about it, and I'll tell you what I think, and we'll give you what we know, and everyone can make their own minds up, and that's it. But the reality is that Griezmann said a few days ago that he's going to confirm his future before the World Cup. Now, the World Cup starts a week tomorrow. He's going to be with the French squad probably from the start of next week properly. I think he's going to confirm his future in the next couple of days. I think by the weekend we'll know. So the great thing about this one is it shouldn't run and run. It shouldn't run and run. It should be done. And my hunch, as I said on That's Football at lunchtime, is that he's going to stay at Atletico Madrid. And if he doesn't do that, I think he will go to Barcelona. But what this has come out from, and it's literally early evening, a couple of hours after Dalot. And from what I've found, I've got to stop calling him that. It's Dalot, apparently. It's Dalot. Salut, Dalot. But no, what it realistically comes down to is that it all started going around Twitter. There's no credible journalists behind this. There's no credible story behind this. This is basically coming from, as I understand it, it's from a Reddit post where somebody put in a Reddit post that you can ban me if it's proved to be wrong, but effectively something to do with a sleeve sponsor, which if somebody in the live comments can remind me who it's rumoured to be, is it Cougar or something like that, which I think is a kitchen appliance thing in America. And as part of this person was working on that, it was let slip by somebody in power that United are very close to a significant signing, and when you put 2 and 2 together, it's Griezmann. So that's then obviously floated around social media, and that's why people are now... Well, I don't think people are thinking it. I just think some people do think that maybe there's something in it for Griezmann. So, as Darian Jones says, Griezmann again, really? No. As the title below me says, Griezmann again, really? This is the Manchester United transfer rumour in relation to Griezmann. Cola, that's it, not Cougar. I'm thinking of something else. But, and it's kitchen and bathroom, says Mike Sill. Contact Mike, he's a fitter. You can't do... No, we won't go down that route. But we're not late. Box says 10 minutes late bridge. Someone needs to tell him to refresh in the live comments because we've been live for quite a while now. But no, I mean, look, I can read some of the positive comments. Griezmann and Savage together would create a perfect title-winning side for next year. It's pronounced Dalot, not Dalot, which I'd already said. Drunk Mark, I'm not drunk. He had his chance and he bottled it, says Mr. Acolyte. Mark Griezmann for 80 million, says James Tinker. Yeah, that was the other part to the Reddit thing as well, that it was somebody with a release clause. And when that release clause kicks in, they will be announced. Well, Griezmann's 89 million release clause kicks in July. So it doesn't even fit on that level, does it? Because Griezmann said he's going to announce his future next week at the latest, which is the middle of June. So it's before his release clause kicks in. So I don't see it. I know he's spending a lot of time with Pogba. I think he was definitely coming to United last year, and then the transfer ban was upheld for Atletico Madrid. But the minute United signed Alexis Sanchez, that was it for me. The number 7 shirt went, and I thought that's the end of Griezmann. And I firmly do believe that it's because Griezmann was coming to United last summer, and after that, Barcelona got in contact with him, and he thought, do I fancy Manchester in the weather? I fancy Barcelona in the weather and a few titles, and I think that turned Griezmann's head, and United had to look elsewhere, so they went for Sanchez. What may have happened is that Griezmann and Barcelona are in a little bit of bother now. There was a rumour at the weekend that they would get transfer bans if they went for him because they tapped it up. It's only a rumour. And then Griezmann's suddenly looking at it like he's staying at Atletico Madrid again. So, of course, Manchester United are going to get mentioned, but I just really hope that Griezmann's going to come out very, very soon and announce what he's doing, because I've always said Antoine Griezmann will fit Manchester United like a glove. That number 7 shirt should have been his. He should have took that opportunity. I was very disappointed this time last year. I did call him a bottler, and he should have done it. And I think he would have been perfect for United, and I think he would have worked really well for us. But it's not happened. I don't expect it to happen. If it did happen, I'd still be really, really happy. But I mean, HA Gaming says there's a 75% chance of Griezmann signing. I'd say there's a 10%. I think it's very, very low. Very low. I don't see it coming. I don't see it happening. And but, you know, we are here to discuss it, aren't we, as a fan community? And that is a big rumour that's floating around, especially on Twitter today. But when you actually start digging deep into it, there really isn't anything there at the moment. And there are plenty of credible journalists out there who are getting things right around United at the moment. Damarcio, Simon Stone, Fabrizio Romano, even Duncan Castles. So if they start talking about Griezmann, and why wouldn't they if there was something around it? For me, there just clearly isn't anything at the moment, and I expect Griezmann to announce something else. Sean Bordner says, we've bought well, but not enough to catch City yet. Never a true word, Sean. Never a true word. You're spot on with that. I mean, I will just throw something out. Dalou, Fred, and then we had Sandro, Griezmann and Milinkovic-Savic. Everybody sit down. We're having a party. That would be a brilliant 5 signings. Absolutely brilliant. But I actually believe, and I'm just going to leave the Griezmann thing here, I actually believe that we've got more chance of getting Ronaldo and Bale than Griezmann. And that's just what I believe from what I sort of hear and see. I don't think Griezmann to United's on at all, but I'd love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. What is on and what will complete the hat-trick is Fellaini leaving Manchester United. This was a few people talking about this, but effectively, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I mean, there's a great side to it, and then there's a ridiculous side to it. So he's got a lot of options. Arsenal obviously rumoured, a few on the continent, even China, and Fellaini's deciding where he's going to go. But the ridiculous side to it is that United still do want him to stay, and the contract is still on the table for him to sign. So as much as I want Fellaini to go because I just don't like him as a player, and as much as a lot of people want him to go for either that reason or because of the way he's played us over the last few weeks, he could still, United is still there with a bowl saying, please, please, sir. And it's like, where's our dignity in this? Where is that? This is not Pogba. This is not Alexis Sanchez. This is not Anthony Martial. This is Marouane Fellaini. His ceiling is 12th place. He's a mid-table player, and we have got a contract on the table which we want him to sign whilst he wanders round Europe catching private jet after private jet, trying to get the biggest deal and best deal for him he can get, which is his right. I totally agree with him doing that. But what United should have done, and I've seen Sport Witness say it, and a lot of people have said it, why have United not just ripped up that contract and salvaged some dignity with this Fellaini thing? Why are United leaving the contract on the table for him to sign? Why has Jose Mourinho spent 6 months begging him to stay? Why, after he scored the winner against Arsenal, did Jose Mourinho come out and say, oh, he's just about to sign. Oh, not till the ink's dry, but he's just about to sign. Why have we put ourselves through that? Because that's where it's going to get embarrassing. And that's where, if he signs for Arsenal, Arsenal fans can say, Socrates Papadopoulos chose them over us. And I would speculate that that's not true. But where we cannot lie, and where we will have to take it, is when, if Fellaini signs for Arsenal, well, Arsenal fans can say, you were begging him to stay and he chose to come to us. And that, from what we know, will be factually correct. Ahmed Hamada says, emotions aside, who do you see realistically will benefit United? Ronaldo, Bale or Savic? I believe if we sign one, the others are off. I think I'd probably say Savic, with speaking with my head. As much as I'd love Ronaldo, I think I'd say Savic. And Jonathan Gorbett says, Reddit posted around a week ago, there was no news regarding the sleeve sponsor, Cola, and now today news is breaking about the Cola sleeve sponsor, so people are thinking the story has legs. Well, thanks for that, Jonathan. You've just added a little bit clarity onto that thing then. Just go quickly back to the Griezmann thing, because we know we've got people joining in a bit late. The Griezmann Manchester United transfer rumour has come from a Reddit post. I don't know what subreddit it is. If anyone wants to drop it in the live comments, please do, and I'll read it out. But effectively, it was a post by somebody who says, you can ban me if this doesn't turn out to be right, but I've been working with a sponsor for United, a sleeve sponsor called Cola, and basically they're after a player with a release clause, and if you put 2 and 2 together, it's Griezmann. I haven't read that. I've had a lot of people contacting me and I've seen a screenshot of it, but I didn't realise. So Jonathan, who's made the contribution, is saying that's from a week ago and it's only today that the Cola thing's come out, so maybe it has legs. Look, maybe it does have legs. Maybe it does have legs, and that person has got a scoop if it's true. And what I would say is, Manchester United, when it comes to transfer rumours, I was talking to Draughty about this the other day, it's a bit of a sieve. It is a bit of a sieve. And a lot of information comes out from United, and we don't know whether it's true a lot of the time, but sometimes, especially in relation to transfers, I mean, look at Delou and Fred. As I said, some channels, including ourselves, have had a bit of stick for saying it's been a done deal for a week and a half. But it has been a done deal for a week and a half because it's been leaked out to credible journalists, and that's what we've gone off. So I don't think Griezmann's coming to Manchester United, and I rate it at 10%. But what I would say is that rumours do come out of United. It is a bit of a sieve at times, and there could be something in it. But I, at this stage, don't think there is. Stephen Dillon, Fergie would have never begged a player like this. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Exclusive says Agent Pion is on it while training in France. There's something I need to tell you about Pereira as well. Do not let me forget. So, yeah, going back to the Fellaini thing, I just think we've had a really good start to the summer with the transfers that we've made. I think the coaching changes are good. I think the signs are good in relation to the signings that we've made because they're young, they're normal, they're smaller than normal. I mean, on Delou, I love the look of him. For a 19-year-old, he looks like a player. I mean, he looks physique, he looks strong. I'm really excited to see him play. I'm not expecting anything from him next season, actually. I don't want to put any pressure onto him next season, but I'm excited to see what he can do. And he speaks right as well. You know, I'm at the best club in the world. I want to win, and that's great to see that from a. It looks like he's got a wise head on young shoulders, which is great. But the Fellaini thing I've just found weird. I found it weird. I mean, it irritated me and it irritated a lot of fans when Martial's being treated like he is, Shaw's being treated like he is, Rashford's going backwards, and then Jose's coming out constantly bigging up Fellaini and publicly, begging him to stay. But I always said, I remember saying this in February, if Fellaini did decide to leave, what a big L that is for Mourinho to take, because he has publicly begged this player. He has publicly backed this player. He has stood by this player. Probably too much in my opinion. He has absolutely had his back more than any other player. And for Fellaini to walk away from him, that's mad. That is absolutely mad. Would you walk away from a boss who would walk over hot coals for you, who will defend you to the end of the world, who will go out in front of, fans who are baying for that player's blood and back him? And would you turn your back on that manager? I mean, that's ridiculous as well. I don't understand. I'm very happy and I'm very grateful to Marouane Fellaini for leaving Manchester United, but we must not forget that our manager wants him to stay. We must not forget that there is a contract on the table for him to stay. The only reason we're getting our wish of Fellaini to go is because Fellaini is deciding to go. And I will not be partying when he goes. I will not be slating him when he goes. I'll applaud him when he goes. I'll thank him when he goes, because he has provided us with what we want. Not the manager, not the club. They wanted him to stay. Fellaini's the one who's deciding to go, and I respect him for that because he's actually giving us, in an indirect way, what we wanted. But I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised that Fellaini is leaving when you've got a manager like that who absolutely adores you publicly, and you're going to turn your back on that. Why? I mean, I'm glad, but why? It's weird. It is weird. Darren Stevenson, we do have a podcast. I'm not on that podcast. We are thinking about uploading some of our content onto a podcast because we've got a good recording setup now. So I'll take a note of that because it is on the list to do. But there is a podcast. It's through our website, theunitedstand.com. You can find it on there. They post. That's basically what the website's used for, really, for them to post on there. It's Dilau, says Karen Mack. Oh, look, mate, it's just signed today. If I wanted a linguistic lesson, I'd go and do my German course, which I do on a Saturday morning. I don't really. Anyway, Damoy has said, can we talk about Pereira? Yeah, there's lots to talk about. So let's talk about Andres Pereira. This worries me a little bit because you signed Dalot, and he's a great player. Or Dalot. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to get someone. I need an audio file. I don't need it written. Anyway, we are... William Price says Griezmann's more likely than Bale. But Prescott is tired of hearing about Griezmann, so don't worry about that. In relation to Andres Pereira, I really do like him, and I have liked him for a long time. I mean, how long we've been doing the United Stand, and I've always talked about Pereira. Really, really talented guy. So he's coming back from a loan from Valencia. He did well at Granada the year before. He's done okay at Valencia this year. In a good Valencia side, he's not been a starter every game, but he's been pretty much getting in off the bench if he's not started. Pereira's linked with Lazio through the, let's get this, Italian press. And I forget the paper. I don't think it was Gazzetta dello Sport. I think it was Mercato. But that worries me a bit, because if you've been listening for a few weeks, I have said that in relation to Delot, I know people keep titling it Delot. Am I getting it right now? Delot. In relation to Pereira, I think, contrast to the way Jose treats Fellaini, I think Jose didn't want, and he admitted it, he didn't want Pereira to go on loan to Valencia, and I wonder whether that's done damage to their relationship. Because I think Pereira should be given a chance. He's gone off for 2 years. He's proved himself enough worthy to be given a shot at United this summer. And I'm hoping he's going to be given a chance. But I have a fear that we might let him go. It's not on the scale of Martial. It's not on the scale of Martial, who Di Marzio said last night he doesn't think is going to leave, which is good. But I do want Pereira and Fosu Mensah to be given a chance. And I'd be sad if Andreas Pereira was sold without ever being given a run in the first team. It would be a real shame to let that happen. So hopefully that will happen. Do you think we need a new manager? Says KKQ. Oh, just get straight to the point, mate. No. Welcome to the channel, K United. I put it on Google Translate and it says Delot, not Delau. It's even spelt Delot. Oh, we're not getting into that wet lettuce. You're going to cause a war in there. I think he's going to Lazio. That's an excellent starting point to get Savic, says Jared Pesserman. Well, that did drop into my mind a little bit, Jared. If we do any business with Lazio this summer, we've got to get Savic. But having said that, I'm a bit old school when it comes to United's youth, and I really do believe in it. And I don't really. Lazio can have Blind as part exchange for Milinkovic-Savic, but Pereira going, it doesn't feel right. That doesn't. I think he really does deserve to be given a shot at United. Like I say, really given a chance. George Shakar says Savic for Pereira. We'll have some of that. Chris Tech Tip says it's Dat Booty. I'm sure we'll all get to know what his name is. The reality is he is a Manchester United player, and that's the most important thing. Both Delou and Fred had release clauses, so no Griezmann credibility, says Pogba West. Yes, you're right, but I think there's something else in the post that sort of steers it away from those two as well, because he actually mentions them. In fact, I might actually have I tell you what, it might be easier if I just read you the post, because I do have it. Somebody sent me a screenshot of it, so I don't know why I didn't do this. In fact, somebody's just sent me the link to it, but instead of doing that, I have it. Somebody sent me I'll shout out the person who did it. Murra Makaman sent me this. So to read it out, it says, tad bit of info that I have held back on Griezmann. To give some rumour some legs, during the ongoing contract discussions for the sleeve sponsor and United, the rep we were working with, who is extremely high up, stated they had a signing almost to the completion that had traction last year. It had to do with a release clause being activated this go around. I assumed either Fred or this new right back from Portugal as release clauses were mentioned, but essentially it was Griezmann and both of them, as he has already agreed a deal with United, and per my understanding it would be a right winger. Take this as 7.5 to 8 out of 10 as a rumour. It has serious traction. I will accept a ban if this does not go through, but the sleeve deal with Cola will be confirmed very, very soon, so at least you can see the validity of my statement here. Now that is dated 6 days ago, and that is on self.red devils Reddit, so you can probably go and find it over there. I'm sure you can find it on the internet. So the screenshot I got this afternoon was 2 hours ago, 735 comments. So look, nobody I listen to about Manchester United has said anything about this. I would suspect Team Di Marzio and everybody else will be looking at that post and making a few phone calls to find out if there's anything in it. And we'll probably know within the next 24 hours if there is or there isn't. I would lean that there probably isn't going to be, because I just think with these sort of things, you can get your hopes up like I did last year about Griezmann, and that was credible, that was going to happen. Even Griezmann said it was nearly going to happen, and it doesn't happen. There's a few signings now that I just will not I will not believe until they're holding up the shirt. Ronaldo, Griezmann, and Fellaini leaving. Those three, I will not hype. I will not say are going to happen until I pretty much know they're going to happen. So we'll see what happens. Does McKenna's promotion mean more first team opportunities for academy players, says Sanjay. I hope so, mate. I really do hope so. I could live without Pereira. Looks good, but we have Gomez, Chong, Gribbin, Greenwood, and we'll spend in the interim, says Manchester Skulls 18. I think that's a great point as well, because we are going to have to let some players go. Not all of them are going to make it. I want Swansea to make it. I want Fosu Mensah to make it, Chong to make it, Gomez to make it, Pereira to make it, including Rashford to make it. So that's 6. And even in the days of the class of '92, there was only 5 of them. So it's not going to go that way, is it? In fact, there wasn't 5 of them, was there? Neville, Butt, Beckham, Scholes, Giggs. There was 6. Chong and Gomez must get a chance in the pre-season, says Gabriel. I never count Phil Neville, you see. Gabriel, Akari, thanks for that. I think they'll go on. They need to go on tour. We can't keep saying they're not going to go on tour. Do you not think the same of the Bale news, says Chris Martin? I do, Chris. I do. I hope... There must be a star up above. Is it Chris Martin from Coldplay? If you're not, I could be a tribute act. In relation to Bale, I think Bale, after the Champions League final, was thinking about leaving. And when you look at it, Manchester United's probably the number 1 place for him to go. And I think United would try and do that deal. I think with Bale and Ronaldo now, it's all about Real Madrid's next manager. And it's going to drag on and on and on. So I just think, well, let's just see what happens with that. Please do drop a like on the video if you are watching live. That would be great. Let's see if we can get up over close to 1,000 tonight. That would be great. X Factor for Marks is JJ. Pereira, Martial, Sanchez, Gomez, Chong, Rashford, Lukaku, Lingard, Mata. Only 3 can play. Man United FTW, yeah. Arsenal to get Gelson Martins on a free. I spoke about that on That's Football if people want to read about that. And I also spoke about the Sevilla defender, Lenglet, on That's Football yesterday as well. So sorry, I should have. Basically, we were linked Lenglet. We should have been Clement Lenglet, who's a Sevilla centre-back. We were linked to him yesterday morning. French sources, early 20s, 6'2", played well against Lukaku in the Champions League. He's one of those players that Mourinho would have in his team, if we go by that amazing press conference. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not even convinced that we need to get a centre-back, to be honest. I'm not even convinced. I certainly do believe that Lindelof can do a job, and I like Eric Bailly, so... I'd probably take Lenglet over Alderweireld, to be honest. Alderweireld, yeah, I probably would. Nothing about Sandro, Gil. I think if anything happens with Sandro, it'll be next week. And I hope we get Savic, Lenglet and Sandro, says Faison Chowdhury. I did say that today as well. If I, and I don't know what you lot think, so let me know. If I was... I'm going to come back to that comment from Cobra UK. If the transfer window was these 2 players that we've got, Fred, Dalot, they're not 2 different players. It's me trying to get Dalot's name right. So I'm going to call him for Dalot for now, but I know it's wrong. Fred, Dalot, and if we got Sandro and Milinkovic-Savic, I'd walk away from this transfer window very happy. I think we can do more than that, but if we made those 4 signings, I'd walk away from this transfer window very, very happy, because I believe our centre-backs can do a job, and I believe our attackers can do a job as well. I think what our attackers need is a better midfield to give them better ball, and I think we need a left-back to provide balance, and we need a backup for Valencia. I can do without the centre-back and the attacker. What I can't do without really is the left-back and another midfielder. They're the most important positions for me. If we've got 300 million to spend, let's get a centre-back, let's get an attacker as well. Yes, we do need them. But if we've only got 150, 200 million to spend, then you've got to go next and get another midfielder and a left-back. And that, obviously we could do better, but realistically, the 2 signings we've made, Sandro, then Milinkovic-Savic, I'll be really happy with that transfer window. I would be really happy with it. Don't know what you think. We'll have a look at some of your comments. Cobra UK says, I'm getting addicted to this channel. Just wish you would not comment on the rubbish transfer news as it cheapens the channel. Look, mate, that's your opinion. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. But what I would say is that we've been doing the United Stand for 3 years, and when the transfer windows are shut, it's a different channel. We do Red Rumours once a week, which talks about transfer rumours, just one show. But when the transfer window's open, I may no qualms about it. I've been playing Championship Manager since I was since I was like 9, FIFA and all that lot. I love transfers. I'm interested in it. It's a passion of mine. Not just even for United. The World Cup, I can't wait because you get to learn about all these players. I'm very passionate about transfer news because it's education. I learn about things. I learn about players. I like it, and a lot of people like it. And yeah, you know what? I know a lot of people don't like it, but we're a fan channel. We're not. I'm not writing for the Times. I'm not. I'm a fan like you lot, and all we do is sometimes we go live like today and we're talking about this Griezmann rumour, which I don't think's true. I don't think it's true. But where else are you going to go live and talk about it? Where else are we going to have a big community talking about that rumour? So that's the United Stand. I think some people think the United Stand is a media outlet, and it isn't. It never will be. It's a fan community for people to talk about things. That's it. That is it. And yeah, so I understand why people get a little bit frustrated about the rubbish transfer rumours, but we've never said we're only going live about credible stories, and we never have, and that's not what we're going to do. I know there are channels who just only talk about credible stuff, and that's great. We like to talk about everything because, you know, life's not always about done deals and official things. There's all sorts of stuff that goes on. And also, I also think as well that when you've got that Griezmann thing going around Twitter, somebody might hear that in the pub, they might hear it somewhere else, but if they watch the United Stand and look at you lot and listen to what we've said, they then find out what the rumour's really about and think, well, if it happens, it's great, but actually at this point, we probably shouldn't get too excited. Smudge says, keep up the work. Good work. Thanks, pal. And look, I don't need any, we don't need, whether it's Flex, me, Sophie, anybody else involved, we don't need anybody's thanks or anything like that. Just drop a like on the video and get involved. We can't do it without you lot. Or Deep Tar, I can't go over the Griezmann thing again. I've done it 3 times. Just go to the start of the video. Seriously, it's too convoluted to go through another 2 minutes of it, and I know a lot of people have heard it. Dalot is not in the Portugal World Cup squad. Inc. Desir, he's never played for Portugal. He's played for the Portugal youth setup. He's never played for Portugal. He's only played a handful of games for Porto. So we're buying a development player. Would I swap Alexis Sanchez for Griezmann, says Robert O'Malley. Personally, I would. Yeah, I'm not overly happy with the Alexis Sanchez signing, if I'm totally honest with you. But I do expect that he could come and do a good job for us next season with a pre-season. But I personally am not overjoyed with what Sanchez did between January and May. He's the best paid player in the league. I know he's unsettled, but what happened to his ability? You know, the effort levels were there, but where's the Alexis Sanchez world-class player? We haven't seen that yet, and he's got to prove that next year because time's running out for him. I mean, he's not 22, he's touching 30, isn't he? So he's got to hit the ground running next season. I think he will do, but if you're asking me now, would I swap Griezmann for Sanchez if it was there in front of me? Yeah, I can't take that risk, and I think he will come good, but I would do, yeah. And I think United wanted Griezmann, but they went for Sanchez because Griezmann chose not to. Lifestyle Tube says, Gem dead Serbia out might be because he doesn't want Savic to... Jose Mourinho said, Serbia out maybe because he doesn't want Savic out the group. Yeah, I heard that. Mourinho's done his prediction and he wants Serbia out. He did say Matic needs a rest, but yeah, it could be something like that. Jay Coulthurst, DiMarzio replied to a tweet last night, very late last night, asked if Martial was staying at Manchester United. And I think he said something along the lines of, I think so. It wasn't a tweet he put out, but it was a reply to a tweet. DJ Inferno says, Mark, can't anyone else do the United Stand instead of you doing all the transfer shows? Mate, yes. For 3 years, we've been trying to get somebody to do it instead of me. I'm more than happy to share the workload, but nobody wants to sit and do it. And look, we've had people sending videos in the past, and I'm more than happy to get other people involved, and we are working on it. But you can't just be willing. You can't just chuck somebody in front of it. Obviously, you've got to, you've got to. I'm trying to think of the word now without digging a hole. You've got to be good, haven't you? And I'm not saying I'm good, but people do watch and have watched for 3 years, and we've done all right as a channel. But I definitely want more people to get involved. So if you are good, soccerboxtv@gmail.com, send us a video in. But we've not had anybody send anything yet that's made us think, yes, they've got that United stand factor. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble a bit anyway. So just very, very quickly, actually, if you are part of our Patreon group, which is like our United Stand members group, $2 a month. We do 2 videos a week on there, so 8 videos for $2, which is about £1.50. It's our World Cup quiz tonight and transfer debrief, where we just talk about transfers in a little bit of a closed live comment section. There's normally about 40 of us in there. We do a little bit of we're doing a Man United World Cup quiz tonight as well, which is I get in the mood for the World Cup with some World Cup questions with a Manchester United theme. Link in the video description for our Patreon page. We'll be starting there in about 2 or 3 minutes time, so I'll see you on there if you're on there. So like a little bit of a United Stand members club, I suppose, but loads of content on the YouTube. We don't do anything that we don't start talking about breaking news or anything like that on there. It's more of a little get together and a little bit of a chat. So I'll see you on the Patreon page if you're going to join me there. Link in the video description for that. Otherwise, you've been absolutely fantastic as per usual. And I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with Transfer Daily. Unless Fellaini leaves tonight, and then I will go live. I tell you. Thanks, everyone, for all the love. Straight back at you. It's been a busy couple of days, but it's been a really good couple of days as well. You know what? I don't like doing shows going nearly a done deal. Is it a done deal? ? I love the shows that we've done the last couple of days where they are a player, they are in a United shirt. Let's go again. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Speak to you all soon.